Newsfirst Newsline with Faraz Shawkatali.
A very good morning to you. Today is the 28th of July 2016. You're watching the Newsline program on TV1 live from the Newsfirst studios. I'm Chaturanga Hapuarachi. As the theme mentions, Mr. Faraz Shawkatali is not here with us today. But today we are going to discuss, is there a delay in the legal system in our country? To discuss this topic, we have with us Mr. Hemantha Wanakura. Good morning to you.
Good morning, Chaturanga.
How are you doing this morning? Busy day ahead?
Yes, I have some few cases today. But I believe this is a very topical topic because we are going to have the 50th Golden Jubilee Law Show Conference in Sri Lanka. And we have been able to successfully bid for that. And it's a very important event. And I was invited by one of the chief organizers, Mr. Neelakantan, to deliver a lecture on law delays. But unfortunately, this day I'm not free, I'm abroad. Therefore, I was thinking what I would say to this August Assembly about law delays in Sri Lanka.
Right.
I believe, Chaturanga, we must all get up and put our hands up for contributing to the delays in the legal system. Every single lawyer, I believe, is responsible for this. We have been very happy because we collect fees, cases get postponed, but we had never thought about the litigants. Very few people think about the litigants and how we could resolve this problem. Problems are manifold. I believe the whole system, the entire civil procedure code, even the criminal procedure code and the evidence ordinance must be scrapped or new laws be introduced or must be suitably amended so that there be fast and expeditious disposal of cases.
When talking about a delay, Mr. Wanakura, now when you talk about civil cases and criminal cases, there seems to be more of a delay when it comes to civil cases than criminal cases. Why?
Definitely, no, but that's true. But recently, I believe you would have seen the papers reported this matter. Some person was convicted of some offence, a government servant, I believe, which was bribery charge, corruption. It took 18 years for the court to come to convict him. So still the case is not concluded because they'll appeal and it might take another 10 years. But my position is, where are we heading if we permit this kind of laws delays to continue? Now, as Chaturanga, as you very quite correctly said, what about the partition cases, land cases, where a lot of crime take place, people murder each other so that because they cannot divide their boundary or some encroachment of 1 inch or few inches, they kill each other. They don't have absolutely no respect for human life. They think of land. And as I thought, always all the wars have been fought for to grab land, or even the Iram war. So my position is now when you file a partition case, how long does it take? Sometimes it takes years and years and years, and several cases where people die, other people are substituted and goes on. Now there must be, I believe, I'm not a civil lawyer, so therefore I cannot correctly prophesy what should be done or so should be done, but I think this must stop. This must stop. I think we are all guilty of permitting this system to go on. There is a thing called law commission, which have been there from the very inception. Then I don't know what they are all eminent lawyers. Now this time the law commission headed by Mr. Ramesh De Silva, one of the most sought out eminent lawyers. Now I know what their recommendations are, but I know even if they are recommended, very few is implemented. I mean, it's a responsible justice ministry to implement these recommendations. But even there, I believe, I do not know whether what their recommendation is towards the speedy disposal or towards securing a better system. But my position is that we have failed in our duty as a member of the legal profession. I have failed. I have not made any contribution towards, any proposal. I have not thought of any proposal to end the laws, because it's a tragic. Now, yesterday I was at a certain outstation court and I saw a woman come into court and claim her interim maintenance. What are the maintenance? What is the maintenance? 2,000 rupees. I was saying, Chaturanga, how can a woman live with 2,000 rupees? So this is the entire gamut. The entire gamut of laws. The basis of this is our poverty. We don't have enough money to spend. Now we say the university professors have fought and said that they want 6% of the national budget to be spent on health service. The government did not agree. But what is the percentage they spend to the Justice Ministry for infrastructure development? We want, if anybody is interested, the primary thing is we have to have more courts. The courts are overburdened with work. Now I see some magistrates, they come on the bench, and the calling role, that is the role in which cases are postponed, it takes sometimes it goes on about 2 or 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Is that time for trials? Now the better thing would be for the to have 2 magistrates and the calling cases be given to 1 magistrate so that he can dispose the cases and the other magistrate to hear and finish and dispose trials.
Mr. Vanagula Surya, an allegation that is raised when talking about this issue is that the criminals or those who are accused who go to courts find the loopholes through which they can sweep through.
That of course is true, or not true in Sri Lanka, but all over the world. There are laws and there are loopholes. Loopholes are invented by the lawyers, right? So therefore, it is why that is how the democratic process develops. You functions. So my position is on that. I would like to bring to my notice. I was thinking now, what happened now? If this case took 18 years, I know of another case where I was appearing for 2 accused who had supposed to have constructed a building on a land that the Kotikawa, the Karaniya Pradesh Sabha or Karaniya Municipal Council says that it's owned by them. Now all this because my understanding was that the certain official made advances to my client's wife and she refused, and the man refused to give a bribe, and they prosecuted. And I am ashamed that when this case started, a simple case where we had to find out whether it had been encroached or not. It went on. It started in 1989, 1990. It went on till I became the ambassador. Every time a lawyer appears for the prosecution and he makes some frivolous excuse, either he's sick or he's not, he has some other work in the High Court, and like that it went on for so many years, and I had to, until I became an ambassador, that was one case that I could not complete because of the applications made by lawyers in order to make money. That's all. I must say that, so my clients are crying. I had appeared number of years without a fee. I know the case is going down. And what happened? The case was concluded only after I became ambassador. A few days, I gave it to another lawyer. He was good enough to conclude the case. So that, this is all. This is one aspect of it. But the real aspect of it now, take for instance the criminal case which I know. Now we file. The CID makes investigations and files a report to the magistrate's court, arrest people, and they objected, and bail is objected, and there's a long process to get bail. And ultimately, when they get bail, then they come and say, "Sir, we have completed the investigations. We send the report file to the Attorney General." Now, Attorney General's department is being accused of lethargy, accused of being slow. But the truth is, I don't think any government department works so hard as the Treasury Department. There are thousands and thousands and thousands of cases which are referred to them, and they have very few lawyers, And when you compare, I think every lawyer must be having about at least 200-300 files. I mean, how can you expect a human being to go through very carefully the entire file and make recommendations? So what happens when the accused are brought? It takes a number of years for the attorney to decide. Now I got a case where the man was produced. The CID went and arrested this man with two and found nothing, but ultimately in the decade he found 2 passports belonging to some other individual. He was brought in, and under the immigration act he was remanded. No bail was granted. All my applications for bail were refused. And ultimately what happened, I had to make a submission to the Justice Department and said there is no case. And one of the junior state counsels, brilliant state counsel, agreed with me and said there is no case. Then thereafter we went to the High Court and got bail. Now that was 4 years ago.
Right.
And this is soon after I returned from my mission. Now what happened? Every day, the court gives about 6 months' time, 3 months' time. Every day, report is filed, saying that they have not received instruction. The reason is no human being can handle so many files that are given to them. And if they do it, then they would be doing a haphazard job. So my position is, I think we build temples, we build hospitals, we have to equally build courthouses. We have to give the judges a much better salary. You cannot compare the judges with ordinary government servants. They are doing a specialized job. They don't have social life. They are confined to the courthouse and to their family. And most people do not know. Once they adjourn court at 3:30, they have to take the files home and write judgments. Or sometimes they are worked till about 2 o'clock, early hours in the morning. One of the finest judges, Mr. Amendra Sen, who did the same thing, who was very dedicated to work, ultimately died of a heart attack because he could not cope with the work. So my position is judges must be paid adequately, and what I thought was we have to decide about the evidence ordinance, which is about 100-200 years ago. It's supposed to be a classic piece of legislation, but today I believe it's a big hindrance for disposal of cases.
Why do you say this?
Well, there are so many objections. Now now I had to produce this island paper in court because there was some article that appeared in the court. It must support my application. Now if the counsel appearing for the other side knows the law, he obviously knows, he'll object and say, no, you can't produce island paper. Now island paper is the island paper. But you have to go to some company, some registrar and get it certified. Now then the whole thing is rejected. Then I had to again apply for this and get it registered. Right. I mean, these are obviously producing documents in this country, right? Now a photograph is produced, they object, say, call the photographer, call this man, call that man. Is that moral to object to that? Because we know definitely the photograph is there and it's not a Photoshop. So we have to. So then, how to do this? I believe we'll sit and decide on this matter, and that's the government must focus attention on this matter and then get cream of lawyers and also other people who are not lawyers, who will also interest in the legal what happened, because they are the people who suffers. We'll always think of obstructing, unfortunately, any progress in legislation. From the history, I'm not saying that I'm also guilty of that. When the debt recovery bill was introduced, which is very progressive legislation, which permits, which makes a person to give a check without fearing that if the check returned, there will be prosecution, criminal prosecution. Now the entire bar association protested with it. I also protested. I also did not know. I also protested. And then I found, but then the government still insisted. The whole very interesting because H.W. Jadhav, the government, H.W. Jadhav protested, but Jadhav saw to it that the legislation came through. So similarly, one of the most important piece of legislation brought about by one of the most intelligent intellectuals ever to hold a position of the Minister of Justice is Felix Das Bandaranaike. He had he made a lot of mistakes, but he also did some lot of progressive things. I believe his drive against corruption was poo-pooed by everyone, and therefore, I mean, the government had lost because he fought against corruption. So, I mean, that time I felt that the people do not want corruption. I mean, this is a country people might even want to demonstration legalize corruption. that is what happened. What happened, Chaturanga? He brought in a legislation called the Administrative Justice Law. He decided, within a very short time, decided to scrap the Civil Procedure Code and brought in. And there were a whole lot of protests. You know, the lawyers protested. There was the concept of a registrar or another legal person who would collect all the documents. You file application with all the documents, right? You can't just file application and say list documents. Get all the documents, give notice to the other party, he'll come and decide. Then the registrar will decide. And then if the registrar is efficient, definitely a decision can be made on the documents.
I'll have to interrupt you there, Mr. Vanukul Surya. We have to head in for a short commercial break. Stay with us. You're watching Newsline. We'll be back after this. So very good morning to you. You're joining us once again. This is the Newsline program on TV1. As the theme mentions, Faraj Shaukat Ali could not be here with us today, but we have Mr. Hemant Vanukul Surya, President's Council, joining us. Mr. Vanukul Surya, another question that is among the public is when these politicians go to court, when they are being taken to court, they get bail soon after. Is this because their lawyers are really good, or is this do with something else?
No, I'll answer that question. May I have your permission to continue from?
Yes, sure, of course.
Yes. Now, what happened was with this new system, he had this idea of speedy disposal and loss delays. He was the only person who addressed that issue, late Mr. Felix Das Bandaranaike. Then what happened? I spoke to one of the senior judges who is no longer Justice Souza. He told me as a district judge, he was able to dispose 85% of the cases that were filed under AJL. Because, you know, the documents are there, very few issues are put forward, and the trial takes few days, and the matter is settled. Now, so therefore, but then the profession, I don't know for what reason, protested. I believe the wrong notion. I know when I was a junior lawyer, there was a lawyer called Date so and so, you know, and everybody said he's an Arab. I asked him, why do you call him Arab? He said, Hemanta, don't you know, this man lives on dates. So, I mean, he goes to court and says that this case is connected to that case, and some more he manages the date. But I found people realized that he was cheating them. And cheating in that sense, you know.
Yes.
And he lost his practice. If the cases are disposed, if the people believe have reposed confidence on the legal system, more and more cases will be filed. They will not try to settle their disputes arbitrarily by shooting and killing each other. So they will come to court. So this is we must encourage.
The people will have their faith on the judiciary.
People are gradually losing. They wrote it some time ago. I mean, the courts, I mean, they called it the temple of justice, and really even in the simple village believe the system of court introduced by the British, though it's not a part of our culture. But then afterwards, now gradually, because of the judge, everybody is overburdened, because the rate of cases now, if you go to England, you'll be shocked that, you know, there will be 2 or 3 cases, and lawyers are given time. Mr. Savanto, you can come at 11 o'clock, and the case will begin at 11 o'clock. Here, I mean, judges are open. So therefore, this system of the administrative justice law, which simplified the entire legal process and the adversarial system, and the issues that from parties were able to settle it. But then we oppose. So therefore, we have a duty as seniors of the profession, seniors in the bar association, we have a duty to tell the government that we must sit together and decide to complete overall this all codes we have, and so that ultimately the people will benefit. People will have come to court and then seek justice. And
speaking about Mr. Vanaguru, the faith the people has on the judiciary now drives me back to the question I asked you.
Now there's a completely wrong notion about our people. Now people expect the government to arrest politicians who have robbed previous government politicians who are supposed to have robbed the national wealth, or they are produced in court. They are produced in court, and there are certain there are laws that governs remanding a person unless this person is accused of
certain malpractice.
No, not accused of committing a crime, committing offence under the offence against public property law. Then he cannot be bailed out. He has to be remanded, which I think is a draconian piece of legislation. There is no reason to keep a person in remand just because he is suspected. But he kept on remand, and you would see that the magistrate refuses to grant bail, and they go to the High Court, and the High Court after some time grants bail, because you can't keep the whole fundamental aspect of a criminal law is the freedom of the individual. The individual is presumed to be innocent unless he is proved guilty. So not only this politician, every other person that is produced in court should be and must be released on bail until he is convicted. So my position is they are not that their lawyers are good. The lawyers are they retain President's Council and the lawyers. But my position is people must not lose confidence on the basis that they are released on bail. Everybody, he got bail, no. What does it matter? He got bail. Very soon, indictment will be filed, charges will be filed, we tried, and if he is found guilty, he will be sent to jail. We cannot impose the Russian or the Chinese system, where their people are taken, they are kept in remand, kangaroo court holds the trial, and the government wants them guilty, they find them guilty and they shoot. So that is not what we have. We have fought to bring this government because Mahinda Rajapaksa, we thought, was interfering with the judiciary. Now that those interference stopped, people are free, and therefore my position is people must not blame the government for the accused being released on bail. I believe every accused, even if they are committed offences against public property, must be released on bail. There is no reason to keep them languishing. What do people gain? We are spending some money, time, state money to feed them, and also after that, after some time, they fall ill. Some strange illness comes called the remand illness. It's called the remand illness, and he taken to the hospital. So ultimately, from hospital he released back, and the moment he got out of the remand, the illness disappears. He gets in active politics. So remanding is not a solution. I believe it's a very, very bad thing to think that people must be remanded. People should not be remanded, but the process of filing action must be expedited so that they be brought to court, and system of justice will prevail only if they are found guilty according to the laws of this country. They must be found guilty and they must sentence.
As the final question, Mr. Vanaguru, since we are almost out of time, let me ask you, now if there is a problem with regard to the doctors, there is a group of people who are coming forward to talk about it. If there is a problem with regard to another profession, there will be a group of people who are willing to talk about it as well. If there is a problem related to the lawyers in the country, is there a group of people that will come forward and talk about it?
Yeah, I believe the bar association, if you invite them, they might come. But there are enough lawyers now. I mean, all these
are lawyers defending themselves?
Most TV, if you don't invite politicians, I find a lot of eminent lawyers appearing in your program. So therefore, there is no question. My position is the problem is not with the lawyers. Problem is not with the profession. We must all get together and think unselfishly, and there is time for introspection. We must find out where we went wrong and try to tell the government speedy disposal could be obtained by these methods, by not following statutes which are 100 and 200 years old, which is archaic and anachronistic, which is not being used by other countries also.
Thank you very much, Mr. Vanukula Surya, for joining us and speaking very candidly about your profession. I know you are having a busy day today, and thank you very much once again for joining us. That was, of course, Mr. Hemantha Vanukula Surya, President's Council, joining us this morning on the Newsline program. Faraz Shaukat Ali will be joining you tomorrow. We will be discussing about the progress of the Gammadha 100 Days program tomorrow. Join us tomorrow as well, same time, same place. For the News First team, I'm Chaturanga Hapuarachi.
News First, Newsline with Faraz Shaukat Ali.